Wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Have you ever heard the term opposites attract? The idea is that we are most drawn to people who are different than us. People who have different personalities, interests, and tastes. For example, if you're quiet or shy and introverted, you'll probably be drawn to someone with an outgoing, life-of-the-party personality. If you love sports, you'll be drawn to a creative artist. Well, I have some breaking news. This theory doesn't play out in real life. We like people who see the world as we do. That's because having things in common often leads to connection, and it allows us to feel more comfortable. But here's the one big problem with this. We're surrounded by people who are nothing like us. These people have different thoughts. These people have different perspectives. These people have different ideas about the way things should be done and the way life should be lived. If you look around or spend a few minutes on social media or even listen to the news, our world feels more divided than it ever has before. In a polarized world, unity can feel impossible. So, is unity even possible? Is that what we need to strive for? And is there anything that we can do to make a difference? That's what I want to talk about today. Last week we looked at how Jesus used the tradition of the Passover meal to help his followers remember all he had done for them. After Jesus and the disciples finished the meal, they went to the garden, and that's a place you can still visit in Israel to this day, where Jesus spent some time praying before he knew he was going to go to the cross. Think about this for a minute. If you could pray for anything right now, what would it be? Now, I have another one. But if you were to pray a final prayer at the end of your life, what would you pray for? If you had to pray for one thing before you left this earth, what would it be? Because time is short. Our words are going to matter more, right? Wouldn't it be fascinating to know what Jesus prayed in a final moment like that? Thankfully we can, because there's a guy named John, one of Jesus' friends, and he recorded it, and it says this: I'm praying not only for these disciples, but also for all who will ever believe in me through their message. I'm praying not only for these disciples, but also for all who will ever believe in me through their message. I pray that they will all be one, just as you and I are one. As you and I are in the Father am I in you. I have given them to the glory you gave me, so they may be as one as we are one. I am in them as you are in me. May they experience such perfect unity that the world will know that you sent me, that you love them as much as you love me. Jesus prayed for us to be united. Being united means being for each other, not against each other. Why is that kind of unity such a big deal? Just like disunity can derail a team, a group, or a family, it can also derail a church. Have you seen Remember the Titans? It's a movie about football in the time of integrating schools. Blacks and whites coming together in school for the first time. Now, if that team would have let racial bias divide them, they wouldn't have made the accomplishments that they made. Jesus said this next: May they experience such perfect unity that the world will know that you sent me and that you love them as much as you love me. Our unity will make Jesus' message more believable, and our disunity will potentially do the opposite. Unity doesn't mean that we agree on everything all the time. Differences and diversity make us stronger, but unity does mean that we seek to keep moving forward together. And how we love and treat one another, our unity becomes a way for the world to see God. So, how do we become more united? How do we become more unified? Maybe it feels impossible. But as we see from Jesus' prayer, our job as followers of Jesus is to learn how to embrace our differences and stay united in the biggest thing that matters, our love for Jesus. If we have that in common, all the other differences don't have to cause disunity. And guess whose responsibility it is to promote and protect the unity in this group? It's not the person next to you. It's not yours. It's mine. It's mine and yours as individuals. Unity begins with you. And oftentimes, for unity to work and get the attention of those around you, you will have to make the first move. So much is riding on this. I think that's why Jesus prayed for it near the end of his life. He knew how difficult this would be. He knew that we would all have millions of excuses why we shouldn't love and treat each other well. He knew that our tendency would always be to let our differences divide us. But if we're going to accomplish the mission Jesus gave us, we must have unity. Soon after Jesus left this earth, the church started changing the world. No one had ever seen people who were so different stand together as one. The unity of the early church changed the first century world, which allowed the message of Jesus to change the world. Remember, this isn't just a nice thing to do. Unity is essential in accomplishing any goal, and unity has to come from a genuine place. That's why it's so important to remember that unity begins with you.
There is power, one working